those of you who are not familiar with Provision, we're a coalition of 16 industry associations across Canada, and that coalition has given us a purpose to make food sustainably. So on the screen, you can see our Provision members. Our newest member is the BC Food Processing Association, not yet up there, just joined this week. And that coalition has asked us to really deliver programs and expertise to the food industry on helping them integrate sustainability. And we do that through 3 strategic priorities: our online sustainability management system and our tools, and our on-site support. The second, which is most important to this discussion, is the identification of the mega challenges facing the food industry, of which food loss and waste, climate mitigation, and responsible sourcing, being able to transparently talk about what's happening in our food system, are our priorities. And the third strategic pillar is our knowledge transfer and outreach, essentially telling the story as we go, sharing what we learn, and influencing good public policy. So our journey in food loss and waste started in 2013 when we identified it as a mega challenge. And what we decided to do was start with recognizing or mapping the problem, understanding what's happening. We identified that we needed to harmonize regulation across the country. We recognized that our policies were not harmonized, but they were also not flexible, and they were also not responsive. We looked also in manufacturing, and we looked at what was happening, what were some of the challenges or barriers, and what were some of the opportunities. Awareness of the problem. This is the cost of business. This is the way we've always done it. We don't have a problem. We divert all of our waste. Access to innovative technology and solutions, whether that is technology or operational best practices. And so we wanted to narrow in on some of those issues. We also recognize that policy that isn't responsive can actually prevent good investment. The ability to quantify and track progress. At the time of this research, it was before the food loss and waste protocol was in place. And so there was a real recognition that there is a lack of data and that there's a lack of baseline and an understanding on how we actually measure and compare the definition of food waste. And then there was a real recognition of this mindset shift, behavior change that was required in the leadership of our businesses. And so one of the things that we decided to do based on this research was establish a collaborative. We felt that the only way that we could address these challenges and opportunities was to work together collectively across the industry, but also invited government, academia, non-government organizations to the table to help us figure out what is it that we can actually do. So in 2014, this group was formed. And one of the very first things that the group said was, we need to make sure that we're focused on education and awareness. And so the first output was a solutions forum, which we hosted this April in partnership with the National Zero Waste Council. And you'll see that they are one of the members of the collaborative. But we also wanted to make sure that we did a working group focused on manufacturing and processing our membership. And that group said, let's look at that quantification issue, because we recognize that if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And it was this group that developed our food loss and waste toolkit. And this tool focuses on quantifying the problem in the processing facility. It looks at what the root cause is and identifies solutions and the return on investment of implementing those solutions. We've had the privilege of testing this toolkit, which was launched last October, with 7 companies. And what I want to share with you now is one example with Campbell's. Campbell's a very progressive company. They're part of the Champions 12.3. They've committed to reducing food waste across all their facilities by 50%. And so we worked with their Toronto facility. 99% of all of their food was already being diverted. And so what we did was we used a food loss and waste assessment in our toolkit, looking at the root cause. So why were they diverting in the first place? And what we found was 938 tons of food that we could prevent from being wasted in the first place. And that was a value of $706,000 to the company. I'm proud to say that this project won the Clean 50 2018 Top Project of the Year, but it really is about demonstrating the importance of prevention versus diversion. And I've got a great shot here of the team at the Toronto facility really looking at that root cause of why they were having food waste in the first place. And finally, to close, I wanted to talk about the importance of again, collaboration around new technology. We brought together the academic institutions, industry, government, to look at different technologies from other parts of industry. So in this case, with Ippolito Fruit and Produce, we're focusing on a technology that comes from the recycling industry, looking at the chemical makeup of plastics and applying that in food, and seeing whether or not we can actually increase the quality of the product, increase the shelf life, and share that technology in primary agriculture, in the produce industry, in the meat industry. And so again, a great example of when we collaborate together, we can really create change. So my final message is that I want to leave you with is that we need to have the balance in our policy. We need harmonized policy, we need flexible policy, and we need policy that is responsive. And then we want to make sure that we are also collaborating and investing in that collaboration. Thank you.